inside the convention hall. You get some more information about that. But today, I have the pleasure to sit down and talk with the original Michael Myers from John Carpenter's 1978 movie classic, Halloween. The OG, Tony Moran. Tony not only is the original, but he appears in Halloween 2 and Halloween Kills. He has also done some work on the small screen, as well as several independent movies. He has won Best Actor for his portrayal of Jack Fox in the 2011 Beg. Welcome to Pittsburgh, Tony.
I didn't appear in Halloween 2. I got the credit for it.
Okay.
They asked me to do it, and I told them no. Because I didn't want to wear a mask. Because I was an actor, you know. And so they said, okay, well, can we pay you and give you the credit as Michael Myers in Halloween 2? And I'm like, well, yeah. Sounds good to me. So I just wanted to clarify that. And then I got credit for Halloween Kills also for a flashback type scene. And I got a special thanks credit, which was kind of nice. So,
okay.
Anyways.
Well, thanks for clearing that up. Tony, if you don't mind, I mean, I know you've talked about this before, but we always have new fans out. Give us a rundown on how you became Michael Myers.
Well, that's an interesting story. I was in an acting workshop and, doing Shakespeare and stuff, and taking myself real seriously and all that, you know. And back then, if you did a horror movie, it was sort of like doing porn or soft porn. And producers and directors kind of looked down on you back then. It's not like it is now. Not anything like it is now. So my agent called me up and asked me, well, she told me she had this interview for me. And she said, yeah, there's this low budget horror film called Halloween. And you play some psycho. That's all she said, all she knew. And I said, a horror movie called Halloween? Really? Seriously? I mean, how corny can you get, you know what I mean? And I said, she said, yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is in it. And I said, well, who the hell is that? Because I didn't know who she was. She was a year younger than me. And she explained it to me, and I said, well, I don't care. I'm not interested, you know. And so she says, well, look at, there's this director, his name is John Carpenter, he's going to become the director, and you know, and I said, yeah, no. and she said, well, Donald Pleasence is in the movie. And I'm like, what? Donald Pleasence? Because I was a huge fan of his. And I said, there's no way he's in this movie. There's no way. She said, I swear to God, he's in the movie. And I go, oh, man. So now I have a dilemma, you know? And I said, you're not bullshitting me. She says, no. He signed the contract, he's already in. I said, oh, God, damn. So I said, okay, I'll go. And, because I figured this way. Maybe the movie lasts 1 or 2 weeks in the drive-in, and that'd be about it, you know? You know? But also, if Donald Pleasence is in it, you know, I have this thing where I can't really lose in a way, because I'll have a credit with him, you know. Why he's doing this movie, I have no idea, but he was, so I went on the interview. And that was on a Wednesday morning she called me. And the interview was for Friday morning at 8:30. And so I go, okay, now look at it. So now what do I do in this thing again? She goes, I don't know, you just play some psycho, I don't know. You play a psycho. You know? I said, okay, so I didn't sleep or shave or shower for 3 days. And so I could be as cranky as possible when I went on the interview. You know? and I went on the interview, and it was off of an alleyway in Hollywood, in a ghetto part of Hollywood, and upstairs, and that's where I met Erwin Blondes and John Carpenter, and they just chit-chatted with me for a while, you know. They didn't even really bring up the movie much at all, and well, they didn't bring it up. They just talked about my life and stuff like that, you know. And it was about 10 minutes. And it was just one room, you know. And when I went in there, I met John Erwin Blondes. He was to the right, and he was clean cut, you know, wearing nice clothes and stuff, you know. I was like, all right, not too bad. And then he introduced John, who goes, this is my director across over here on the couch. And John stands up, and he's got, you know, tennis shoes, jeans, and a t-shirt on. I'm like, oh God. And then I got home, and then later that afternoon, and my agent called me and said, you got the job. I said, well, whoop-de-doo, you know. And that's how that happened.
So it's also said that you had that one scene in the movie, but you didn't actually play Michael Myers throughout the movie. Did you know that going into it? Do you think you were going to be like looking around the streets during the whole movie, or did you know you were going to be for just that one scene?
I just knew I was going to be for one scene.
Okay.
I just didn't know what that scene was.
Okay, so I spoke with Christina Cleave last year, and we talked about her role in her Halloween movie, and she described that was the very first shot they shot was her nude scene, her scene where she gets killed. Was your movie shot in sequence, or was your part like right away? Did they film your part right away, or did it film pretty much in sequence?
I have no idea.
No, okay. I mean,
they usually don't.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's indoor shots and there's outdoor shots.
Okay.
Yeah. So usually they don't do it in sequence.
Were you on set every day, or did you
No,
come
I
in and call in?
was on set one day.
And,
It only took 21 days to film the movie.
okay. So there's also another report of back when Marilyn Monroe did that one scene where she says, "I'm sugar," or whatever. She did it 47 takes to say that one line. Did your scene, was it a one and done, or did the mask come on and off easily? Did you have to do it more than once?
I think we did it twice. And there's no scene in that movie that had more than 3 takes.
Wow. That's well, because of probably the budget on it, is that
That's
correct?
exactly right.
You didn't go and see it right away, did you? Had you seen Halloween after it was put out in production and put out into the movie theaters? Did you go and see it right away?
No, I was, at 21, I was really immature and an asshole, really. And I remember in August, I think it was, or somewhere around there, we filmed in April, and I got this envelope, and it was an invitation to go to the screening of Halloween for the cast and crew. And I threw it away. I didn't even go. Like a jerk. Just like a jerk, you know. So, and I didn't even know there was going to be a mask in the movie.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know until I got on set.
The set on the day that they shot the shot.
That's right.
It's a good thing it fit, right?
That's right. That's right. This lady, I was told who the wardrobe lady was, and so when I went to the door of the house to, you know, went in, I go, I need to talk to you. I can't remember her name, Sue, Mary, whatever. And I'm Tony Moran. I'm playing Michael Myers. And she goes, and they go, okay, we'll go get her. And they go get her. And she's got the coveralls draped over her arm. And the army boots with the, you know, the heel eyelets or whatever you want to call that, or hooks, you know. She had that hooked under her fingers. And then she had a mask and a jar of Vaseline. And she goes, here's your stuff, here you go, here you go. I'm like, and I was like looking at her, I'm like, what do you mean my stuff, you know, because of the mask, right? And she goes, well, this is your costume. I'm like, costume? She says, yeah. I said, you gotta be kidding me. I said, I gotta wear this mask? She says, yeah. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. She said, no. And I go, and she sees I'm getting really upset, you know. And she says, it's okay. She says, Jamie Lee Curtis is gonna pull the mask off and you get to see her face. I said, oh, it's okay, you know. And I'm like, oh man, God, how humiliating, you know what I mean? So I go, well, what's the jar of Vaseline for? She goes, well, you want to put that in your hair so the mask can just slide right off your head when she rips it off. You have a lot of hair, which I did back then, you know. I go, okay, great, awesome. Yeah, that's a true story.
So it took 2 takes to do it, so you had to throw it back on again. And luckily it fit, right? I mean, that the mask fit. And
oh yeah, it's just like the mask they sell now, you know, it's all, it beats everybody just about.
Did you have it? Did you keep it?
No, we didn't get to keep it.
Didn't know if maybe it followed you out the door and all.
No. So then you're right about, it took time for me to see the movie.
Yeah.
So I said no to the, I just didn't go. And so I was working in Hollywood somewhere on Sunset Boulevard as a bartender or waiter or something. And I'm going home down Sunset Boulevard to get to the freeway to get to where I lived in the San Fernando Valley. And this is about 6 months later or so, something like that. And I'm driving my little piece of crap Volkswagen Bug, you know, down Sunset Boulevard. And I see this billboard. It's Halloween. And it's right in the town called Westwood, which is right next to UCLA. And Westwood is in LA. It's a famous like date night place for restaurants and theaters, high end. And they have beautiful theaters. In fact, they filmed Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Robbie, whatever her name is.
Yeah, Margot Robbie and Fred.
Yeah, and when she goes to see the movie, she's in one of those theaters. And beautiful theaters. And I looked up and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. This movie, what the hell? So back then there was no Netflix or, you know, Blockbuster or, you know, VHS or any of that stuff. So when we could see a movie, if it was good, it'd be still in the theater. And it still was. And I had a girlfriend at this time. I told her, I said, have you noticed that this movie, so a few weeks later, I started looking. It's playing everywhere. It's playing everywhere. I just couldn't believe it, you know? And I go, have you noticed it's playing everywhere? She goes, yeah. And I go, well, I'm gonna go see it. She said, yeah, sure. So we go, and sit in the theater, and it's packed. And people are screaming, and at the screen run and dive and all that crap. And halfway through, I was like watching it, and I'm like, well, this is pretty good. This movie's pretty good. She goes, yeah, it's not bad. And that's how that happened.
So the follow-up question is, you obviously didn't tell her before you went that you were in it. Did she recognize you on screen, or did you tell her afterwards, hey, that was me, or?
No, she knew I did the movie.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Oh, she did, okay.
Yeah.
Was she surprised that you didn't see it yet, or that you guys were both seeing it for the first time?
No.
Were you a big fan of horror movies at all? I mean, when you went to movies as a kid or as a teenager or as a young adult, did you go to horror movies or did you go to action movies or what did you? Where did you go to
I
movies?
just went to see everything, but yeah, it's like Psycho is my favorite horror movie of all time, and then second is The Shining and The Exorcist.
Okay.
Even though The Exorcist, I was brought up Catholic and I was an altar boy and stuff, it just scares the crap out of me,
Yeah.
But
Like 27 years after the movie came out, something like that. What was your first convention like? 2005 or?
Yeah, 2005, yeah. It was in New Jersey, it was Chiller. Yeah, well, I did this one little rinky-dink one that, was like a burnt-out strip mall. And because the guy told me, he didn't set me up for Chiller. And Chiller, when I went, I was like, it was pretty cool because the Hells Angels were doing the security there and everything. It was great. I didn't really tell many people that I did the movie. And then once it got really popular, I just kept seeing all these Halloween movies being, spit out,
Sure.
And, but I didn't really pay too much of attention because I got out of the business. And, but my little sister, I don't know if you guys ever watched Happy Days or anything like that, Erin Moran, that was my little sister. And she was kind of estranged from the family. And she happened to be at 2005, 2006. Well, either one of them, because I did Children two years in a row. And I can't remember if it was 2005. So, anyways, it's such a huge convention that they have all these ballrooms, and then they have tents in the parking lot and stuff like that. It's crazy. And she happened to be in the same tent as me, and I hadn't talked to her in years, and she hadn't talked to anybody in the family for years. And I remember I'm like sitting there signing autographs, and she was over there, and I saw out of the corner of my eye that she was walking up, but not too close, like almost like a little closer than this gentleman right here, where the chair was moving. And I'm signing autographs, and I can see her look at my camera, look at me, look at me, look at me. And I looked at her, and I'm like, what was that? That's how she found out.
Were you surprised at the output of people? It seems like you downplay your role in Halloween, and even you said you threw away the invite to watch the movie and that. And then during the convention, how did that feel to have all these people coming up to you and asking for your autograph and taking pictures with you?
Humbling, very, very humbling, and awesome. I'm about the most blessed guy walking the earth. Really.
Now,
It's the only best word I can come up with that really describes my life.
you moved that onto more independent type films. What made you go to do more like Beg? So for example, Beg, where you won that award for Best Actor, which was a cool role that you played, Jack Fox. I did watch that in preparation.
I was up against Robert Englund too.
Oh well, there you go. That's a nice takeaway then. What draws you to independent films?
Oh, they're just so much fun, and there's no suits, there's no studios. It's great. It's awesome. It's a great time. Long hours. Yeah, it's like a couple. This one director, Begg, said. He said, we'll probably be filming until the birds start chirping, and every day we did. Every day we did, because it just takes a long time. It's not as organized maybe as a studio movie, but it's a whole lot more fun.
Do you know how many days it took to film Beg?
I can't remember.
Do you think was it longer? Was it longer than, because you were probably on the set every day for that, because you were the main.
Yeah. I don't know. 30 days, 35 days, maybe something like that.
How was it in a role with PJ Souls again. Now, did you stay friends with her after Halloween? Did you know her through the convention circuit, or was that the first time you saw her since maybe back?
No, I knew her through the convention circuit,
Okay.
and I'm the one that got her in the movie. She turned it down. Her and her agent turned it down, and I called her up and I says, "I'm telling you, this script is really good. And you play my wife in it." She says, "Okay."
Well, there you go.
Okay.
You've done
And the same with Tony Todd being in it. I called him up. That was a little rougher because he wasn't going to get paid much, and he was pissed. But and I talked to him at a convention in Kentucky about it over dinner. He started yelling at me. Because him and her are good friends too. And then Michael Berryman, I got him also.
Was there a film of these most recent independent films that you really enjoyed, or one that sticks out? I mean, you did a couple of the Clown Motel ones.
Peg was,
Good to see
Peg
you.
was
Awesome. Here, could you just you'll be here for a bit, right?
When you did the Clown Motel ones, that's an actual motel, right? I mean, they filmed that at the actual motel there in Nevada. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I never filmed there.
Oh, you did.
No,
Your part wasn't during that.
no, not that location.
I also read that in 2021 you became an ordained minister.
Yeah,
Yeah, so Michael Myers is literally mirroring people, is that correct?
yeah, married people.
Do you do the costume?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I did a couple of years ago. I did my first weddings. I did 12 in 4 days.
Wow.
Yeah, and 6 were on Saturday alone. I think it was 5 or 6. Yeah, all in costume. It was pretty wild. And then in October.
Oh, gee. Well,
Yeah, and then
go figure.
I did 2 last year. But I did this sit at 12 in one place in West Virginia. And yeah, it was quite the experience.
So it puts a whole new spin on Till Death Do You Part, huh?
That's right.
And I'm sure. So you have your fans come up and you sign things for them, or they probably give you gifts. Is there anything that you've signed that's the most unusual thing you've ever signed, or maybe the most unusual thing that you've ever received as a gift? Signing any prosthetics
one
or
time
anything?
when we were filming Bags, we were at this one sports bar and grill thing, this huge place called Players, and one of the bouncers came up and said, that one of the waitresses wanted me to sign her butt.
Okay. Oh, there you go, right?
So I did.
Yeah, no.
But with nothing on.
Oh.
Yeah, we did it in the manager's office. And he wanted to come in. I said, "No, you can't come in." So it was just me, and the manager was a female, and the waitress. It's pretty funny. And she had, they wore a black shirt and black jeans, and she we introduced each other, and I said, "So you want me to sign your butt?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." She goes, "Well, here's this one thing though." I said, "Okay, what's that?" She goes, "I'm not wearing any underwear." I'm like, okay. Okay. And right when I said okay, I swear to God, those pants went down to her ankles so fast, I've never seen anything like it. It was so fast. So I got this butt in front of me, and I said, "You want me to personalize it to you? Or do you just want me to sign it?" She goes, "No, personalize it, please." Because that takes longer,
Yeah, of course. I did hear that out of high school, the California Angels were interested in you.
Yeah, scouting me, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You played for then North Hollywood High School?
Yes.
What position did you play?
Jesus Christ, you know a lot about me, man.
I did a little bit. very serious. But I'm curious, because I do enjoy sports, I'm curious, and I love baseball, so I'm curious if you guys don't mind me digressing for this.
It's spooky, pal. It's spooky.
What position? You play?
Second base.
Second?
Mm-hmm. I tore my knee up though playing football.
Oh.
So then that kind of screwed things up.
So then you were a multi-sport athlete then in high school?
Yeah. Surfed my whole life, and then that's where this comes from.
Oh.
And taught tennis for about 10 years.
I
I just was born natural athlete.
Do you still follow sports, or do you have a team you follow?
Dodgers, Raiders, a little bit Raiders, Dodgers.
Okay. Let's open up the floor to some questions. If anybody has any questions that maybe I missed, or something that's really digging in your brain about.
Was Halloween your first big break, or your first acting role?
First acting role, yeah. Yeah.
So, to get that first role, you didn't seem too excited. That's your break, right?
Well, yeah, but see, back, like I was saying earlier, though, I didn't know the movie was going to be the way it is now. Yeah, we didn't know. I certainly didn't know. Wearing a mask in the movie, in a horror movie, I mean, so I just didn't know.
But it works now. The resume, that helps the resume.
Well, I guess I don't really use a resume anymore, but I don't really use one anymore.
We got one over here.
Yeah, can you tell us anything about John Carpenter, how he worked? Was he fast? Was he slow? I'm guessing he was
Yeah,
fast.
like a computer. I mean, great guy. Really, really good guy. Funny too. But man, he had everything down, like to the inch with the cameras and lights and everything, and boom. That's why there's no more than 3 takes in that movie.
What about Donald Pleasence? You said you were happy to see that he was going to be in the movie as well. Did you get a chance to meet him and hang out with him a little bit during it, or what do you think about him as well?
Well, yeah, of course I met him because
Yeah.
he shoots me. Yeah. But
Yes, of course.
A number of times.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe you told me, right.
But yeah, he kind of, I kind of felt like he felt like I did, because he kind of stuck. He was a really nice guy, personable and all that. But he would just run back to his trailer after when he was after each scene or whatever, or whenever they're going to set up a new scene. And but a nice guy, and he just kind of kept to himself. But then later on in his life, he said that Halloween was the best thing that ever happened to him in his career.
Well, Tony, is there anything that I might have missed during this panel discussion? Something that I might have missed that you want to get out there?
No.
No. then I hit all the bases. Then that's good. Well, let's give Tony Moran a round of applause. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.